Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is our October session for Cloud Management Community, our live event. And as you may know, we haven't done one for a little while now. Before we get started, just to kind of make you aware, we are planning to do more and potentially kind of have some collaborations on the go as well. So look out for that. We've got a great session for you today here with Pavel Mirochnitchenko. He's going to talk about Intune Advanced Automation for us. He's got a presentation and I think a demonstration as well that's you can see.
So now why security baselines are important, and I really hope that especially if you are in Intune today, you already use security baselines and keep them, think of them as a standard procedure, because especially with cloud managed devices, you really need to be ready for the fact that end user with his machine, he's probably sitting in public network with a public IP with open Wi-Fi, and that's just a fact. You need to face it. So only thing you can do, you can maximize the security on that machine inside the Windows. So forget about physical firewalls. And security baseline here, they play a big role in that field. So if you think about zero trust concept and you deep dive into endpoints, that's it is. So you need to maximize the security. And I remember myself those times still being in on-prem with Windows 7, those security baselines were there already. And there we were maybe a little bit afraid of the compatibility issues. There were problems with authorization methods against local Active Directory, and we didn't want to use it, but that is over. So the entire game is changed. So security baselines, I really recommend that after today, start using them, start doing them. Now, when it comes to troubleshooting, consider the fact, sorry, my dog is going crazy here. Just a minute. Sorry about that. So consider the scenario that you have it could be on-prem or cloud environment. So you have a workstation in your management. It could be configuration manager, Intune, even group policies. So everything works. And then you start piloting security baselines and something breaks. Usually it is application. It could be something else around Windows functionalities. But when you deassign the security baseline and sync settings back, you realize, okay, fine, everything is working again. So it's crystal clear to you that security baseline is the fault here, the reason. And so what is the first step you need to do here? Now you need to be aware that that by default the default settings of security baseline, it has this under the firewall, it has this group policy named not merge set to yes. And what it actually means is that there's no rules then applied at all. So actually what the setting is that it denies all the local firewall rules from functioning. And that's very important because you can have the application, you install special application, it creates its own firewall rules. That happens a lot. So actually, I'm gonna show you this. Now, we have local firewall rules, and now in this live machine, so in the monitoring view, these rules are actually created by Intune. And in inbound rule, you will see all the possible rule. They come from Windows. There's a lot of rules coming from Windows itself and other stuff. So actually, when that default settings for the security baseline is on, you will see these rules here in inbound rule. You can enable, disable them, create no rule. But guess what? There will be zero effect because security baseline denies these rules. And what you really need to loop is the monitoring. And the monitoring view will show you only the rules which are active and allow to work. So let's solve this situation by changing the setting, allowing the merge, and you will see and then understand what happened. So we open the security baseline, go here. So what you need to change is under the firewall, there is same stuff. Connection security rules from group policy, not merge. Yes, let's change it to not configure. The funny thing is here that this message states group policy, but it's actually not a group policy. It is it's local policy, it's local firewall rule. So it may be the wording from Microsoft wording is not correct here. So let's change this. And then let's sync the settings. Okay, so while it's syncing, let's wait, I will go, because this probably will not go in a second. So I will talk some more and let's come back. Now, and actually, when we do this, so we are allowing the merging with local rules. Then if you use Defender for Endpoint, you will later see the recommendation that, hey, get back to disable the merging. That's Microsoft recommendation. And this is it, that you need to, this is something which, well, you make the decision here. Which one is it? How do you want to go forward with this? Because if you have too much applications and too little staff, or you don't control your own application for one reason or another, then it is acceptable that, yeah, you just solve this situation by allowing this merge to happen. it means also that you will make your environment a little bit weaker, but it is still better to use a security baselines rather than not use them at all. And of course, the better solution here is to keep that merging. Don't merge the settings. Then you have the full control of firewall rules. But you need then to make create all the firewall rules through the Intune. So then only Intune control the rules. Now let's see. Do we have something here? So I refresh the view. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Yeah, let's get here later. Okay. A few more things about security baselines. Windows security baseline and Defender security baselines, they still use the all control mechanism like under the hood in Intune. So they are not yet using settings catalog. And you will also see that through the monitoring, because the monitoring for the security baseline looks a little bit different. And actually, it's a known issue, or call it a bug, whatever. I talked about this with Microsoft, that it's a well-known thing that when you start when you apply the security baseline on a field on all computers and start then later to change the rules, and specifically if you change from enable to not configure, the monitoring will go red with erroring. And that's a known issue. And how you can solve this, you need to create new baseline, alter it based on your needs, and then publish it to all computers. So because of this, I really recommend that when you start playing with security baselines, control your firewall, antivirus, and maybe even attack surface reduction rules. Don't do that in security baseline objects. Do it from endpoint security itself as its own separate objects, because probably in the real life you need sometimes alter firewall rules or antivirus behavior or something like that. So I really recommend that do it with their own objects, and keep the security baseline as static you can. So you don't need to alter the settings later. And then also there's this funny thing that actually when you create firewall rule with Intune, you need to separate the TCP and UDP protocols there in the ruling. So there's a option with the protocol, and it says that if not specified, the default is any. Well, actually that won't work. If you set it to any, you will get error, the rule will not be created, and you will have an error in the event viewer. So whenever you create rule, specify always, is it the TCP and UDP? And some rules you need to create both protocols, so create 2 rules for them. So I'm actually talking about settings in the firewall. For example, I have RDP here opened. And well, let's see. So you always need to specify the protocol. And so this is not actually correct. If you set it like this, safe, it will error and there will be no role. I will cancel it. Okay, now what's up with this? Yeah, bingo. So what happened? I hope you now get the idea. I allowed all local rules to function. And I believe that with this solution, you will probably cover almost any problems happening around security baselines with your applications. Okay. Now, I am done with security baselines, and let's go then to talk about Autopilot.
Before we do, we had a couple of questions. If I can just read them through with you.
Yes.
I'll go backwards. The last one was the one I've got on my screen, so it's you can probably go into the chat to read it as well, but I'll read it out. So there seems to be some crossover between the Microsoft 365 apps baseline in Intune and the one in config.office.com policy management. Is there a preference between which to use?
Right. And but they're talking about that another fancy portal. No, not Intune portal, but the configuration portal for Office. Or yeah. Well, I'm an Intune fan, and of course I prefer Intune. This is very good question, and honestly, I don't get the idea why there are many sides of control panel to use. You can have Intune, you can have Office, and there's a control panel, separate control panel for Edge as well. It could be messy. So if you are using Intune, or use only Intune, and I think that there might be in the future a lot of problems if, like, there's an organization with two parties, some controls only M365 and some controls only Intune. If they don't talk to each other, there could be some problems. So it's actually a good question why there are multiple control methods there. Yes. Okay. Any other?
No. I will add on to that. It's funny you say that, because when I work with Microsoft, we just rolled out auto patch to our entire environment, and Intune is the one area that we're trying to, I like to have everything in one console, like you said, but they're actually advocating to go into the 365 console, and you can monitor your 365 apps there, and go into going to Defender, and they actually advocate going other places. Is Microsoft on here? So I'm interested. It's interesting. I'm glad you said that, because I am with you on that one. So I guess maybe it's more of a comment than a question.
Yeah. My understanding is that there might be environments without Intune licensing. And then if you want to have very easy way to manage some small parts of Office, for example, you could do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with that. Yeah, but to come from Microsoft themselves when they're giving guidance didn't make any sense to me. But
yeah.
Yeah, and one of the other things
I have a quick.
Sorry, I didn't see who that was.
Just a quick remark on this. I think one of the other reasons why Microsoft would want you to use admin portal for Microsoft 365 apps is because you can also control settings on web versions of applications, and you cannot really do it from Intune because you manage devices.
That is true. That's true.
That is a great point. Thank you for that.
Forgot about that.
Any other questions? Please put them into chat or the Q&A section we have. I can't see any other questions that weren't covered in the chat. So,
did you have another one, Dean? Did you want to raise?
Nope.
No. Okay. Over to you. Back to you, Pavel.
Thanks. Okay. So before you get excited about getting rid of device hashes, I have to admit that this will not work for pre-provisioning or white glove. So you can use this method only with the original user-driven autopilot, where end user initiates the autopilot process from the beginning, right? But the good thing is that this solution or idea I'm going to talk to you about and provide some tools, you can just take it and use it side by side. So you don't need to change any existing mechanisms of yours. You can still use device hashes with existing computers, but you can bring this as additional side-by-side solution, so you don't lose anything. Now, why you would like to use Autopilot without need of device hashes? There might be a few scenarios. First reason is that you might have a lot of employees traveling around. They lose or break their PCs, and employee might be on a long business trip, and your company data might be so secure you require compliant device to access that data. So you want to give the user opportunity to just purchase any PC from any market and drive that through the Autopilot and get the same result. Then your reseller usually use, like I call it, enterprise reselling, when they are capable of bringing the device hashes for you. So they might be out of stock of hardware models you desire, or you just want to have this independency of, you don't want to stick with one reseller or two reseller, you want to purchase anywhere. It's up to you. So now I'm not going to talk about basics of Autopilot, but let's quickly recap that. What is the meaning of device hash under the hood? So any Windows computer which is being installed, and after it's laid down the files on the drive, and it is the first time boot comes up and the out of box experience begin, and it established network for the first time, it actually asks Microsoft Cloud Services that do I belong to any organization? And if the device hash exists, and if the device hash is applied, the Autopilot profile is applied to that device hash, then you get welcome to your company screen instead of welcome Microsoft screen, right? That is the meaning of device hash. Now, Autopilot as an entire solution, it has two components. It has Autopilot profile, which most important capabilities, in my opinion, is that it removes admin rights, because if a user installs computer by himself, he always gain local admin rights. That's a fact. So this is very important. Also, Autopilot profile names the device. You can set your own naming pattern, naming policy there. And then there's an enrollment status page where you control the error behavior mechanism, how it will continue or will not continue. You can also list applications which are specifically for Autopilot. So without device hashes, you will lose Autopilot profile, but you still have the ESP available. It will still be active. So if you deploy the ESP configuration to all devices and to all users, what I usually do, and when you when an end user in that Microsoft screen enters his company email address, he or she will end up with the ESP still, and the experience is almost similar. There will be some questions about telemetry, but then still without device hashes, the ESP will push applications and policies there during the enrollment, right? So without device hashes, we lose Autopilot profile. And in my example, I didn't want to do a demo, but this is an example. I tested this machine a few days ago again. So when a user ends up, so a user installs Autopilot without device hashes, and the end result at the first is that the naming is something like this. This is default naming pattern for Windows desktop / something. And then you see that there's admin rights. Or there's no, he can execute a command prompt with a full admin, right? From the picture. Now, after the first reboot, this is different. The name pattern is there. This is my standard for naming computer, and there's no admin rights. And you can gain this functionality with my scripts. You can find them in GitHub. Just look for Yanara and Intune, and you will find it. There's a remove local admin and rename computer. Now let's take a look at those scripts. Now you have access here. You can download the scripts. So what local admin do? It's a simple script which uses this SID number code is for administrators group. I use it as a SID because Windows could be in any language, so it could be administrators or administrative or järjestelmävalvoja in Finnish. So good luck with that. So with the SID, you will manage any language Windows. So what actually this script does is that you should assign this script to all users, and so because the user has in the first session the admin rights, he also has a right to remove that right. So basically this command will remove the user from local admin group. And error in action silent continue is because when you are deploying this script to all users, you don't want to fail that. You don't want to have in Intune like error messages or something like that. So it will succeed. The line will succeed in any case, is admin rights or not. Another script is renaming computer, and in my case, I always use some kind of prefix, like first letters of a company, or it could be anything. And then serial number, I always see, because I'm doing Intune implementations all the time, and we always use serial numbers for naming. So with this script, if you are satisfied with this mechanism using the serial number, then you're good to go with that. And this will take cover of the naming that you will have a standard naming. And so here are the scripts, and now few tips how to use those scripts. Now, bother to wrap them into Win32 app. Then you will get them faster to run during the Autopilot. built-in PowerShell capability into it's a little bit slow. Then you should keep applications targeted to all devices, because this unknown computer with device hash, it might not pick up your manually created dynamic groups. So it's a good idea. It might work, but with assigning like all the common applications like Office to all devices, you make sure that it will get all the applications during the ESP. And for the naming script, you need to have a group, something called, let's take this to the lab as well. So how I've done it, so how you deploy computer renaming script, I've done it so I have this kind of like a group name consumer devices. It could be anything, but like if you purchase computer from a market, then it's good to have like a consumer group. And so this naming script is assigned to this, the Entity2 app. And I actually, I first use this desktop minus because it's a standard name for any Windows. But then I realized that during Windows 11, and it might be also during Windows 10, there's a chance that end user could name his computer in any name. So with that, I use like, because my naming policy also is LB, all my regular computers, like with the device hashes, they always get this LB starting. So it's not display not start with this. And then all the consumer computers, manually installed computers, they will arrive to this group. And then you have that naming script applied to that. Okay. Now, actually, you know what? I'm done.
Good, thank you. So a couple of questions then, I think. Firstly, again, I'm going to go from the bottom. Can we get the GitHub links that you just shared? We're going to put them in the YouTube description as well, so that will be helpful. But if you could share those with us later on, that would be great. Next, the why would you use a device, a dynamic group rather than a devices group with a filter? Was a question.
Yes, filter actually, it could be even better.
Okay.
Yeah, it could work as well. It's a good idea. Not exactly sure. Could it be that during Autopilot the dynamic group is a little bit faster to be activated? But I have actually to test that out. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have always thought dynamic groups were slower than filters, so maybe filters would be a good idea. Next would be regarding the naming standard. If we use serial number, does it work on Surface laptops?
How Surface laptops is how they are. What is the serial number entity in the VMI? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, very specific question. So I thought I'd just raise it.
Good point. Yeah.
And then there's a question specifically about the remove admin script that you remove local admin script that you showed. Would that script cause a problem if we implemented laps, cloud laps or standard laps?
Actually, no. No, good, very good question. The thing is that, excellent question. The thing is that this script will only apply to Intune user who has the Intune license and who is using that computer. Labs should utilize local admin account inside Windows.
Yeah.
And this script will not touch local account, because I also use labs in this environment.
Perfect. Okay. Good. So just a confirmation on the Surface Laptop thing. For Surface laptops, the first 7 digits is the same, which means you get a duplicate device. Yeah, interesting question. Very specific. I don't know. Pavel, any thoughts on that?
I didn't actually get the answer about the Surface. So what is the inside serial number, how the VMI shows it?
So the first 7 digits of the serial number are identical to every other Surface laptop. Then. Well, no, because then when you do the second one, it will have the duplicate name to the first one.
Yeah.
First. This okay. The naming script, it actually doesn't have limitations in the number. It has some limitations, because now I remember with the Hyper-V it is the same thing. Hyper-V virtual machines has very long serial numbers.
Yeah.
And this script will cut them into shorter pieces, but I don't remember how long it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the limit is 15 in total, but if you have a short prefix, then hopefully the remaining digits will be fine.
Then you probably need maybe to get rid out of that prefix and use only the serial number.
Okay.
Also, one thing is that I know this might become messy, but remember that in Intune and in Entra, it is allowed to have multiple same naming devices. So, for example, in local Active Directory, you couldn't have 2 devices with the same name. It will be an error. In Intune, you can do that because in Intune, the other naming pattern is that you enter a running number, right? Not the serial number, but a random number. And I've seen the situations with the random number that those random numbers, there's some chance that there will be 2 devices with the equal name and both will work. I've seen that live.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Good. There was another question, which was, let me just find it, which was from Patrick, which is, we can manage the local admin group from the account protection policy in Intune, but you showed using a script. Is there a particular reason you use a script? Is the script doing something different?
Script which removes the privileges.
Yes, but there's apparently there's an account protection.
Yeah.
Policy.
I have to admit that I made this script. This is not totally new solution for me. I made these scripts some time ago, maybe a year ago, and I have to say that I never got into the this account management with I think it's a new feature in Intune. I never investigated properly because I use scripts. Yeah. And also for the labs as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, we have a script in the chat. So I'm just trying to pass that while I read. Bear with me a second. I'll skip to Sean.
So yeah, right. You have a look if you want, Dean. I can raise that. So there's another question from Sean Tracy. From best practice scenarios, should the scripts be bundled as Win32 and run separately, or can they be bundled into another app?
they should be, these two scripts should be wrapped separately, because one package you apply to all users and another package you apply to devices with this specific consumer group.
Okay. Is that good? If you give the thumbs up, maybe Sean, if that answers your question. So just one other thing from me, Pavel. So you've got a few other scripts and that in your GitHub there. Is there anything else related you just want to raise or show? We've got a few minutes left here on the stream, but or is that for another session?
You can access GitHub and look at all the scripts you have. You can access them all here, and there will be, I hope there will be another sessions. I can actually, I forgot, I can quickly show you that device which I installed with a device hash, how it looks today, right? So I have one device without device hash. We looked at that at the PowerPoint. It is this fella here, and the name pattern is my naming pattern. There is even this management name. The management name, you probably know, this date is when that device was enrolled in Intune. So even that you get from here. And here, when you look at this, you actually will not see under the device, you will not see those scripts because, or the packages, because those packages was applied to unknown computer with the silly name, right? But if you, this actually shows because I updated something. But so don't get surprised. If you take a look, if you create those packages, start testing, and always test. So after this, my presentation, if you get excited about this, always test in your environment. Don't go blind only based on my talk here, right? So with the remove local admin rights, you will see that it has applied to this computer at the same date. So meaning that works. And this failing was with the previous version without continue silently on the errors. Okay, so that's pretty much it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Pavel. That was really good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
I want to, before you move on to the question thing, I had one more thing to just quickly share.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think it's this one. Hopefully that's coming through. Yes?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, whoever asked about the local account protection thing, very good point. If we go into the endpoint security account protection section, we have a policy that we can create for Windows 10 and later called local user group membership. If we go into that, we can create a policy, and here we can choose the group that we're managing, so administrators, users, guests, etc. And I think the thing that you could do to emulate what Pavel was just showing is to choose add replace and then specify the users that you want to add. So for example, maybe no one, but maybe no one. You could just add replace no one maybe, but to empty that group and just get your admin in there. But this is definitely something that could maybe help with the thing you were doing, Pavel, do you think?
The question is that, again, I'm not sure now, can this solution really remove the current user from admin or any user, but keep the local admin inside? That is the challenge, I think. I'm not sure.
I think it can. So here we can add a
Yeah.
SID in manual. So we can add replace. I think would remove everything that's currently there and replace it with this. Please check that before you you do it. But yes, that's a good point. I don't know if it'll actually remove the global admin, Ben. I don't know, but I think this should be explored a bit more. But as you say, your script was written a long time ago. You've tested it a lot. It works.
It
so
was,
that's
that's old story. Yes.
We have a raised hand, Andy. Do you want to?
Yeah, who's that from? Roman Chris, is that right? You can come off mute and ask the question if you like.
May have been a misclick. May have been saying thanks or something.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Thank you again for joining. It's been a good interaction. There's been lots of questions. I'm going to come to you, Pavel. It's difficult to kind of keep note of as you're going along some of these questions. I know. Anything that stands out for you? If not, I know that Dean has kind of got some suggestions for kind of the best questions, but we'll come to you. What stands out for you?
Labs and filters.
Okay.
The filter was excellent.
Filter, yeah. Who was that? Filters question. What was the labs one? I don't recall the labs one.
You're talking about labs or labs?
Sorry, labs. Yeah, labs. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a question on labs.
The first question of labs.
Yeah, let's try and find it. If you did ask the question about labs at the start, please raise it in the chat so we can find you. Oh, Sean Tracy. Yeah, perfect. And that was your second great question. So thank you for that. What was the other question about labs? I don't see the question about labs.
Yeah.
There was a question about something like, is there conflict with labs then if you remove admin rights?
Yeah, I recall it. I'm just scrolling through a very small screen.
Okay, it was labs specifically, was it, or was it the crossovers of screens? That one?
Oh no, it was Sean. It was Sean both times.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well,
good.
Sean, if you want to put your I'll put my detail. I'll contact you. If you want to send me some details, I'll get you a voucher over. There's one more we need to pick. Is there anything else that you remember, Pavel, that stand out for you? Because both those questions were from the same person, you see. I
see. And how about this new functionality in Intune about the user management? Was it also the same fella?
I think that was David Cruikshank, was it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember it seeing from David. The crossover of screens, that one.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. That was the one I was thinking was pretty good at the start. But that was Patrick. Yeah. I'd say we have 3 great questions there.
Okay.
Do you want to have 3?
Yeah. Yeah, 3's good.
Cool. All right. So that would be David and Patrick, I think. Can you reach out to Andy or myself or anyone on the team with your details, and we'll get you is it an Amazon voucher we're doing, Andy, or?
Amazon voucher, or we can do something else. Just reach out to me first, and we put my details in, and you can contact me with your details, and we'll sort something out.
Perfect.
So I'll put my email address on there. So if you guys reach out to me, we'll get something organised. Right. Okay. Anything else, the team, Pavel, you want to raise? Thank you so much for that session. It was really good. Anything else people want to raise before we close down, really?
No, thanks. I will let my dog out now.
Yeah, he's been stuck in the cupboard for the last 3/4 of an hour, right? Great. Okay, on that note, thank you for joining, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. Keep watching for new sessions that will be coming up, and like I say, hopefully we've got some collaborations on the way as well. Great. Thanks very much.
Thank you.